Hello, welcome back. You may have noticed that I fixed my net so we can hit some proper golf balls into it now. Get in. In tonight's video, we're looking about this idea of keeping your left arm straight during the golf swing. I think it's something that is highly scrutinised over by people when they're first getting into the game, unnecessarily so. So without further ado, let's get into it. Right, hello, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, my name's Jack, this is Jack Lee Golf. If you like what you've seen so far, please make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing, all the usual things. Right, so like I said earlier, left arm, or lead arm as I'm going to refer to it tonight, because left-handed golfers, it's the right arm. Keeping that straight in the golf swing. Where does this idea come from? I think the ideas of a lot of people are based on form over function. So they're looking more at the aesthetics of the golf swing instead of looking at how it performs. Now, what do I mean by that? So if we look at Adam Scott as an example, he's someone who's got a seriously straight lead arm when it comes to throughout his golf swing, really. People say he's got one of the best looking golf swings, and you know, there's no doubting that Adam Scott is one of the best golfers on the planet currently. But when we're thinking about your average Joe, is it something that it's necessary that we try to achieve or not? I don't think it is. Here's my reasons why. For a lot of you out there, there will be a reason as to why you can't do it. This will be due to restrictive problems in either hips, lats, core. So if you're someone who struggles to achieve a full backswing whilst keeping your left arm straight, that could be due to those reasons. If that is the case, go and see your local physiotherapist and hopefully you can unlock some of these body parts in order to get a slightly longer length swing. And when we think about Adam Scott again, Adam Scott has got a body that is built for a golf swing. He is the model golfer because he works with organisations such as TPI, which is the Total Performance Institute, and he's got every body part unlocked for this perfectly aesthetic, but not only is it such a good looking swing, it works, and that's what I want to tap into a little bit more tonight. So I think for a lot of people, when we think about keeping that left arm straight, they think it as a power source. They think of it as if you keep your lead arm straight, you'll be able to generate some power. But like I said earlier, if you haven't got the mobility in your hips, your torso, your core, then we won't be able to achieve a longer length swing. And now we all know that a longer length swing, more often than not, leads to a higher club head speed, which then translates into more distance further down the line. One thing that I want you to think about a little bit differently right now is think about your arm and think about it breaking up into potentially a couple of levers. If I was to make this kind of swing with a straight lead arm and then take it into a follow through, do you think I'd be able to generate more power with that motion or more power with that motion, where the lead arm breaks down, acts as a lever, and I can generate a bit more speed? So in that instance, is it necessary that we need to keep our lead arm straight for more power? No, it's actually the opposite. Second idea, I think a lot of people think that if you keep your lead arm straight, you can control the club face a little bit better. I'll just show you something a bit different. So I'm going to keep my lead arm straight, but I'm going to manipulate my wrist angles so that I can wang that club face wide open. Would you say that that is a controlled golf club in that position? I wouldn't say so. Similarly, if you're someone that's got the opposite wrist angles, would you say that's a controlled club face at that position? I would argue not again. So there's a lot of scrutinising that goes over this lead arm and how it works, where I think there's a lot more important parts of the golf swing that you should be scrutinising over, really. In my experience, due to the fact of how tight people tend to grip the golf club when they're trying to get into this straight lead arm position, it has a detrimental effect on how they're controlling the club face and therefore the direction that that golf ball is going. Two things that I see often associated when you've got a grip tension as tight as what most people have when they're trying to achieve this is we do get that lead wrist into what is called extension, also known as cupping. Also means that that club face is wide open. So when I see people try and keep the lead arm straight, I see a lot of slices. Much more important to me if you can control your club face in this instance. So instead of thinking about keeping your lead arm as straight as you possibly can, here are some different ideas that are what I want you to think, which I think is going to help you golf a lot more than that idea. First up, relax your grip. I always say to people on a scale of 1 to 10, or a tightness scale of how tight you need to grip this golf club, 1 being that and 10 being this, where you're seeing veins in your forearm pulsating out, I hold it at like a 4. So it's just tight enough so that you can keep hold of it, but just soft enough so that you can swing it loosely. Second tip is obviously don't scrutinise on your lead arm being dead straight. A real good phrase that I heard from some other top instructors online, as you may know of them as Me and My Golf, they say keep your left arm comfortably straight. Just get it as straight as you can. Like I said, you may have restricted mobility when we think about hips, torsos, core, all that kind of stuff. So if you can get it to a position where it's kind of semi-bent and you're happy with that. There are a few golfers on tour that don't maintain a dead straight lead arm, so that kind of shows you the importance of it. But the big one for me is ensure that you're keeping in control of this club face. So I'm not bothered if you are dead straight with your lead arm. I'm not bothered if we're bending this lead arm, as long as we're using the appropriate wrist angles and other parts of your golf swing, but in order to control this club face. So I'll just walk you through a few swings. Let's go. I want to show you my interpretation of a straight lead arm in the golf swing. When I do it, I ensure that my lead wrist is perfectly flat, so that as I'm working my downswing, that club face is in appropriate positions to deliver that club. There we go, that were a lovely centered strike that time. But you can still break down this lead arm as long as you're in control of these wrist angles again, and subsequently you're in control of that club face. You can still deliver it on the downswing to that position where it needs to be. My last piece of advice is, if you are someone that struggles to generate speed and you have restricted mobility in hips, torso, abs, get a pound every time I say that, I think, try breaking this down and see what results you get. Obviously go to your local PGA Pro if they've got a launch monitor, something like that, then you can test whether your club head speed is going up or down depending on these ideas. But think of a sneaky way to get a little bit more speed if you have got restricted mobility. Adding a lever, bending this arm, might help you more than it'll hinder you. So there you go, there's some ideas about keeping the lead arm straight during the golf swing. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see me do something similar tomorrow, make sure you leave it in the comments below. Giveaway still running on my channel, so head across, enter that if you haven't done so already. Any suggestions for any other videos, again, bang them in the comments below. I'll get to them as soon as I can. I've got plenty coming out in the next few weeks or so while we're still in lockdown. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Stay safe. Laters.